One got knocked down, he won't get up again. The other went knocked him down. One got knocked down, and now he's fucking dead. The other went knocked him out. Combo Breaker!
Rulers of entire races waiting to claim their rightful throne. That's right, today we have a battle between two gods. It's a fight between Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans and the son of King Vegeta, versus Thor, the Prince of Asgard and son of Odin. Thor is the god of thunder and son of Odin, also brother to Loki. But you know what? You probably know him more by one of the strongest Avengers. Honestly, this guy's a powerhouse, and you probably know who he is thanks to the more mainstream Marvel movies. So we're going to go ahead and skip his origin story and just move right into his things. So let's go ahead and look at Thor's powers, weapons, and techniques. So starting off with Thor's weapons, and you know, warning, I'm probably going to mispronounce all of these names, just fair warning. Thor wields Mjolnir, which is a magic hammer that grants him many of his powers. And it was forged by a dying star and can only be wielded by worthy people. To be worthy, you must be have a warrior lifestyle, willing to kill, think of others before yourself. You must be honorable, very powerful, have a sense of nobility, and humility. So yeah, that's pretty much Thor's hammer. So on to his next thing, the Majangadord, which is basically a magical belt that Thor wears, which doubles his strength and stamina. The Jarnborn is a magic axe forged by dwarves that Thor used before his hammer, and thus he used it basically to fight celestial beings, but he doesn't really use it much anymore because he now has Mjolnir. The Uru arm is an artificial arm forged out by the same flame and metal that his hammer is crafted of, and it replaced his left arm after it was chopped off. On to powers. Thor, being a god, God of course gives him superhuman stats, and he actually ages slower than all other beings. Also, he has a very small healing factor that can help him out in battle. He can use magic to manipulate all of the elements, even without his hammer. Thor can also manipulate energy, his aura, and memories, and he has super senses. And he basically can increase all of these stats by 10 with his warrior's madness. Thor can create tornadoes just by breathing, and has minor telepathy and can even create illusions. Thor also has resistance to the conditions of outer space, disease, radiation, extreme temperature, electricity, and age manipulation, soul and mind manipulation, and resistance to absolute zero. When wielding Mjolnir, he can fly. And create force fields. He also can sense and absorb energy and radiation. Plus, he can throw his hammer like a frickin' boomerang and use it to deflect projectiles. Thor can create portals, teleport, and turn invisible and untouchable, as well as use holy magic. So on to Thor's godlike feats. Thor has the strength to dent Silver Surfer's head just by headbutting him, and Loki has claimed that Thor is stronger than Silver Surfer. During his battle with Galactus, he shook multiple galaxies, and Thor has the strength to destroy the Thread of Fate and end the Ragnarok cycle. Thor can travel between universes, realms, and planets in just a short period of time, giving him ridiculous speeds. And Thor is tough enough to survive an explosion that destroyed Mjolnir, and when he was headbutting Silver Surfer, it dented Silver Surfer but only left a small bruise on Thor. Thor can fight for up to 9 months straight against frost giants and other creatures and be perfectly fine afterwards. But despite Thor's usual guns ablazing strategy, he is actually quite the genius, having thousands of years of combat experience with multiple weapons, foes, and you know what? He knows how to exploit all of his opponent's weaknesses once he figures them out. Thor is also smart enough to trick and outsmart Loki, you know, the trickster god, and Thor has the intelligence of Odin. But Thor is by no means unstoppable. He does have his own problems. Thor holds back all of his powers against opponents from Earth, as he doesn't wish to destroy them. Now, this also leads to him being caught off guard really easily against opponents, and with Thor's warrior's madness, he does lose a lot of control during the fight. So let's see if Vegeta can stand up to the God of Thunder. Vegeta, Prince of all Saiyans and son of King Vegeta, and also possibly the future ruler of Planet Vegeta. That is, if freaking Frieza, that douchebag, didn't blow up the planet. Anyway, he's now the arch-rival and friend to Goku. So let's go ahead and look at Vegeta's powers and attacks. Vegeta, being a Dragon Ball character, can fly and use his superhuman stats and manipulate his ki to use as a weapon. He can also create affirmative images and use his ki for basic forms of telekinesis. Vegeta has amazing willpower, he's able to resist mind manipulation. This is best shown when he wasn't taken over by the Majin spell and instead just increased his stats. Vegeta can also sense energy and strength levels, and every time Vegeta survives a fatal injury, he gets a power boost. Vegeta also has a small amount of electric manipulation, and he can create shields out of ki. Vegeta can also resist absolute zero and can only be sensed by things referred to as gods. Nothing lesser can sense his energy. Now Vegeta comes equipped with a set of badass special attacks to destroy his opponents. The Bang Beam is like pretty much, those little finger gun things you did as a kid? Basically that, except it shoots out a giant blast that kills things. The Big Bang attack is a big blue ball of ki that explodes on impact. Think like a Hadouken from Street Fighter, but one-handed and way more devastating. The Blaster Meteor is a barrage of exploding yellow beams. Vegeta also has his own version of the Destructo Disc, which is basically a freaking ki buzzsaw that cuts through people. The Double Gallic Cannon is where Vegeta puts his hands on the victim's chest and fires a large blast, incinerating them. The final explosion is a large ki explosion that kills Vegeta afterwards, and he also has the Final Flash, a fan favorite, which is basically he puts his hands together and fires a giant yellow beam capable of obliterating foes. The Gallic Gun is pretty much is a purple ki attack, kind of like Vegeta's version of the Kamehameha. The Hell Zone Grenade is a technique where Vegeta launches a bunch of ki blasts all around his foe and then collapses him in on his foe, exploding on contact. But of course, Vegeta does have his transformations due to him being a Dragon Ball character and all. Vegeta can transform into Super Saiyan, where his hair turns yellow and spikes up. This also increases his power tremendously. Vegeta needs another power boost. He can turn Super Saiyan 2 and increase his stats even further than Super Saiyan 1. And Vegeta has access to not one, but two super powerful forms. With the help of Bulma, he can access Super Saiyan 4, which is the Saiyan's greatest natural form, and can increase his stats to ridiculous levels. However, this transformation is only temporary. The other ultimate form that he has access to is the Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue. With this, Vegeta gains God Ki and a tremendous leap in power. Also, his hair is blue. It's kind of weird, but it is. So with all these powers and forms out of the way, let's look at Vegeta's feats. Vegeta has shown his strength time and time again, as he has been able to be on par with Goku, Golden Frieza, Frost, and many other universal to multiversal threats. Vegeta has the speed to keep up with battle against Goku and Golden Frieza and Frost, and even a casual Beerus. Vegeta can endure beatings from Frieza in his gold form and from Frost. Now he's also tough enough to survive multiple critical level strikes from the assassin hit, and albeit he was knocked out by the end of the match, but he survived. Vegeta can also has trained for multiple hours in the 100 times gravity, and has even trained for a year straight with Goku without getting tired. Vegeta is a genius in battle and can usually figure out a winning strategy against his opponents, even if it seems like an unwinnable battle. But Vegeta, despite his great power and being an amazing warrior, does have some major flaws. Vegeta can't breathe in space and is dangerously overconfident and prideful. He often lets his pride overtake him, and his anger can make his fighting incredibly sloppy. He is also prone to letting his foe fight at their best for a good challenge, like when he lets Cell attain his perfect form, only to get his ass handed to him a second later. Alright, our combatants are set, so let's see which is the best godly prince and who deserves the throne. Vegeta lands on Asgard and looks around. Thor's hammer flies at Vegeta, who catches the hammer and throws it back, and then Thor lands in front of Vegeta. Vegeta flies forward, punches Thor in the face, making him stumble back a bit, but Thor then smacks Vegeta in the head with his hammer, sending him flying back. Vegeta flies up and puts his hands in front of him, and launches a large yellow ki beam down towards Thor. Thor spins his hammer, blocking the blast. Thor launches a lightning bolt towards Vegeta. The lightning bolt strikes Vegeta, knocking him out of the air. Thor flies up to Vegeta as he's falling and smashes him down with his hammer. Vegeta crashes down on the ground and Thor lands and rushes at Vegeta, who screams, causing a yellow aura to form around him as he turns Super Saiyan. Thor stumbles back from the raw power as Vegeta flies towards him and uppercuts him into the air. Vegeta flies up and launches a Big Bang attack at Thor. The blast hits Thor, launching him into a building. The building collapses on Thor and then Vegeta lands and stares at the building's rubble for a moment. Thor walks out of the rubble bleeding from his head and arm. Vegeta looks at Thor as he powers up to Super Saiyan 2. Thor throws his hammer at Vegeta, who dodges and laughs. Thor runs up and knees Vegeta in the chest, and as his hammer flies back and hits him in the back of the head. Thor grabs his hammer and hits Vegeta in the face with it. Thor shoots down a lightning bolt from the sky and strikes Vegeta. Vegeta kicks back and powers up to Super Saiyan Blue. Thor looks incredibly pissed. Thor runs over at Vegeta and smashes his hammer down on his head. Vegeta sucker punches Thor, and then as Thor stumbles back, Vegeta launches a barrage of ki blasts that explode on contact. The smoke clears and Thor stands back up with his eyes glowing as he strikes Vegeta with an incredibly large lightning bolt. Vegeta walks out of the lightning and kicks Thor to the ground. Then he charges with Final Flash and fires it directly down at him, blowing off the top half of Thor. Vegeta flies away. Our winner is Vegeta, and damn, this was a close match. So I'll go ahead and go stat by stat to show you why Vegeta claims victory and the throne. So strength is a tie, with both having universal and multiversal feats against people like Goku and the Silver Surfer. Speed is also a tie with massively faster than light feats, such as Vegeta being on par with Goku and Thor's universal travel feats. Durability is also a tie, with universal and multiversal power being able to take hits from Goku and Silver Surfer respectively. Now stamina, I'm going to have to give to Vegeta with his 1 year straight of combat training with Goku, compared to Thor's only 9 months of fighting Frost Giants. Now intelligence is also a tie, with both spending numerous years fighting a multitude of different opponents. But now on to what gives them each their own little special set of edges. Vegeta can't wield Thor's hammer, so that's very much Thor's only special edge in this fight, as I'll show you why Vegeta has most of the other edges and can win this fight. Vegeta has a Zenkai boost, which pretty much makes any lethal attack into a power boost. He'll still be mortally wounded after, but he'll be stronger and that will give him enough of an edge to kill him if need be. Now Vegeta can also manipulate electricity to some extent, so Thor's main power is going to be a bit harder to use effectively against Vegeta, which will be something Thor will have a hard time working around. And there's, and that's enough. That's another thing. Thor's main weapon is a hammer, so he's going to have to use blunt force to beat him. And that's pretty hard to do when someone's on the same strength level as you. Whereas Vegeta can easily cut through other people with his lethal attacks such as the Destructo Disc, so he can end Thor pretty early in the fight. Looks like Thor just couldn't bring the thunder. Our winner is Vegeta.
Next time on Combo Breaker.
Captain Underpants is with Stan, Kyle, Kenny, Cartman, and the new kid.